Every Star Trek movie ranked from worst to best. For nearly 6 decades, Star Trek has boldly gone where no franchise has gone before, producing not just iconic TV shows but a series of ambitious, sometimes brilliant, sometimes bewildering feature films. From cerebral sci-fi morality plays to high-octane space adventures, these movies have defined multiple eras of Trek. Ranking them from worst to best is no easy task. Each has its defenders, but revisiting the entire run reveals a fascinating evolution of tone, technology, and storytelling. Below is a definitive, creative ranking of all 13 official Star Trek movies, from the clunkiest misfires to the warp speed classics. 13. Star Trek V, The Final Frontier 1989. Even the most devoted fans will admit this one's a bit of a mess. William Shatner's directorial debut promised an epic spiritual quest. What does God need with a starship? Remains the most meme-worthy line in Trek history, but wound up saddled with weak visual effects, a rushed script, and tonal confusion. It oscillates wildly between goofy campfire sing-alongs and theological musings. Despite flashes of charm, like Spock's wry humor and the crew's camaraderie, the movie feels like a first draft of a more interesting story. Its ambition can't be faulted, but its execution ranks it dead last. 12. Star Trek Nemesis 2002, billed as a darker, more action-oriented farewell for the Next Generation crew, Nemesis feels strangely hollow. The plot pits Picard against his young clone at pre-Venom Tom Hardy, which could have been a meditation on identity and destiny. Instead, it becomes a grim, oddly muted space opera with underdeveloped villains and underused supporting characters. Data's sacrificial death should have landed as an emotional crescendo, but even that moment feels rushed. There's some impressive ship-to-ship combat, yet Nemesis mostly serves as a cautionary tale of franchise fatigue. 11. Star Trek Insurrection 1998. After the massive success of First Contact, the TNG films shifted gears into something lighter and more TV-like. Insurrection is essentially a two-part episode stretched to feature length, complete with technobabble, moral dilemmas, and pastoral landscapes. The story about protecting a peaceful planet from forced relocation has its heart in the right place, but lacks urgency. Picard's rebellion against Starfleet should be thrilling. Instead, it plays as gentle, even dull. Still, there's fun to be had in the crew's rejuvenation subplot and the movie's throwback optimism. 10. Star Trek Into Darkness 2013. The second entry in J.J. Abrams' rebooted Kelvin timeline doubles down on spectacle but stumbles narratively. Positioning Benedict Cumberbatch as a secret Khan-Noonien scene felt like a stunt rather than a revelation, and the climactic inversion of Wrath of Khan's iconic death scene felt unearned. Yet Into Darkness isn't without virtues. It boasts kinetic action, a gorgeous aesthetic, and strong performances, especially from Zachary Quinto's Spock. As a space thriller, it's serviceable. As Star Trek, it's derivative. 9. Star Trek Generations 1994. The first big screen outing for the Next Generation crew, Generations tries to bridge eras by bringing Kirk and Picard together. The idea is tantalizing, the execution uneven. The Nexus subplot, where time and reality blur, is intriguing but poorly explained, and Kirk's anticlimactic death remains controversial. Still, there's a grandeur to seeing Picard in cinematic scope, and Malcolm McDowell's villain Saran is enjoyably scenery-chewing. A flawed but earnest passing of the torch. 8. Star Trek The Motion Picture 1979. The first Trek movie was a seismic event. Gene Roddenberry's vision finally realized on the big screen with lavish sets, groundbreaking effects, and a sweeping Jerry Goldsmith score. But it's also slow, ponderous, and oddly sterile. Its plot, essentially a feature-length riff on the classic episode The Changeling, is cerebral to a fault. Yet time has been kind to the motion picture. Its meditative tone feels refreshingly ambitious in an era of endless space battles. As a mood piece and spectacle, it's fascinating, even if it's rarely fun. 7. Star Trek III The Search for Spock 1984. Often overshadowed by the films that bookend it, Search for Spock is quietly one of the most emotional entries. Directed by Leonard Nimoy, it picks up after Wrath of Khan, with the crew risking everything to resurrect their fallen friend. There's sabotage, theft of the Enterprise, and a darkly memorable villain in Christopher Lloyd's Klingon commander. While it lacks the polish of Khan, the film's heart, loyalty, sacrifice, and rebirth makes it a vital middle chapter. 6. Star Trek Beyond 2016. The third Kelvin timeline movie finally nails the mix of old and new. Directed by Justin Lin, Beyond dials back the mystery box plotting of Abrams' films and instead delivers a pulpy, energetic adventure reminiscent of classic Trek. The crew's chemistry shines, particularly in smaller pairings. Spock and McCoy stranded together is a delight. Idris Elba's villain Krall has a backstory tied to Starfleet's past, and the film's theme of unity echoes Roddenberry's ideals. It's proof that modern Trek can be both thrilling and soulful. 5. Star Trek IV. The Voyage Home 1986. The Whales movie shouldn't work, yet it's one of the most beloved installments. Following the intense emotional arcs of Khan and Search for Spock, Voyage Home takes a breezy, comedic approach. The crew travels back to 1980s San Francisco to save humpback whales and thereby the future. Few Trek films capture the family-like warmth of the crew so perfectly. For Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country 1991. Nicholas Meyer returned to helm what amounts to the original crew's curtain call, and he gave them a Shakespearean send-off. Undiscovered Country is part political thriller, part whodunit, and part meditation on aging and prejudice. With the Cold War thawing in real life, the film's metaphor for détente with the Klingons felt strikingly relevant. It's also gorgeously shot, tightly plotted, and gives each crew member a moment to shine. Few finales stick the landing so gracefully. 3. Star Trek First Contact 1996. Widely regarded as the next generation crew's best film, First Contact is a pitch-perfect blend of action, horror, and heart. Directed by Jonathan Frakes Riker himself, it pits the Enterprise against the Borg in a time travel plot to protect humanity's first warp flight. Patrick Stewart's performance as a vengeance-driven Picard is electric, and the Borg Queen adds a sinister new dimension to Trek's most terrifying villains. The film's optimism, humans reaching for the stars even after apocalypse, remains quintessentially Star Trek. 2. Star Trek II. The Wrath of Khan 1982. The film that saved the franchise. After the slow reception to the motion picture, Nicholas Meyer reinvigorated Trek with a swashbuckling tone, a rousing score, and a tragic villain in Ricardo Montalban's Khan. It's essentially a naval thriller in space, but also a meditation on aging, loss, and friendship. Spock's death, "I have been, and always shall be, your friend," still stands as the emotional high point of the entire series. Nearly flawless. 1. Star Trek 2009. This might be a controversial top pick, but J.J. Abrams' reboot accomplished something extraordinary. It made Star Trek mainstream again. By embracing an alternate timeline, it honored canon while freeing itself to play. The casting was inspired: Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Carl Urban, all pitch perfect, the action thrilling, and Michael Giacchino's score instantly iconic. Most importantly, it recaptured the sense of wonder and adventure at Trek's heart. Without it, the franchise might have stalled. With it, Star Trek boldly went into the 21st century. The evolution of Trek on the big screen, ranking the films, highlights the franchise's remarkable adaptability. The early movies,